the puzzle here. Hi, everybody. So yeah, what do we want to get up to today?
Um, I had something in mind and then I forgot.
That's okay. Maybe it'll come back.
There was some like really complicated games I had the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, chat, maybe you guys don't find it as exciting, but I'd like to review one of those games with you.
Yeah, I would
Through
love to do
17
that.
lands.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. Exit here. And Cord can see, or Alex can see my desktop screen. And in case you're wondering what this cat is, it's Metal Mario's cat Oreo.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Because I
It's a
have
good
like
name.
a paint with and she's sitting on a bunch of
I
Oreos.
like it.
I have like a redemption thing, which is like paint, and then like they redeem it, and then I go and paint whatever they want, and as I paint, I go through like this whole like um sort of made up made up story as I go along with it.
Nice. Yeah, is that like Metal Mario's Redemption, I guess?
Yes.
Nice. Love it.
Okay, so I don't think chat can.
No, chat can't see this. I've also got the stream up, so.
Okay, let me share the chat.
Yeah, exactly. There's always something to be learned from the game review, even if it's not your own. I agree. There we go. Now we can't see you, but there we go.
Okay, okay.
Sweet.
All right, so let me go through this really quick to make sure that's the game that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Well, that's in the Zoni law, so that doesn't count. Um, is it this one then? No, it was with another deck. Okay, interesting.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought it
No,
was
no,
this deck.
take your time. I'm not in a rush.
It was this deck. Uh, this crazy one. Oh no, no, no! This one was just I got completely smashed, dude. You want to see this really quick?
Yeah, sure. If it ended this quickly.
So they just put this face up, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" But then they were like, a mythic like top like 1200. So I was like, they must know what they're doing, and they definitely
Yeah.
did.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. And this game ends in 3 turns. Good lord.
Look, watch this shit.
Yeah. 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 All
Yeah,
right.
and it was just over.
Yep. Force into terrible blocks. Go 12.
My code cannot help me here, and it was just, and then they flipped this giant thing.
Yeah, that the performer just like deals so much damage out of nowhere sometimes. Like, yeah, card's really, really good.
Yeah, so it was over.
Nice. Well, not so nice, but nice for the opponent.
This one, yeah, I think it was. And it was a very long game.
Yeah, it looks log and complex, just like I like them. All right.
Okay,
So
so
can I take a quick look at the deck just before we
oh
jump
yeah, of
in?
course.
Okay, so you're like, oh, is this? No, this isn't the deck we drafted. It looked kind of similar. So it's like blue red, splashing some helixes. Yeah, okay. So blue red like mid range, I would say basically. Maybe a little controlling. Sweet.
Um, So I don't have any specific questions. It was just a really hard game.
Yeah, just like cycle through it as we're doing it. Like I'll stop us if there's any spot where I'm like, oh, that's an interesting spot to talk about.
Okay. Let me know if I'm going too fast.
I mean, right here is actually probably a good place. We'll just stop right here. And I feel like a lot of games in this format do kind of, not that they start on turn 4, but your real decisions start on turn 4. Where like, okay, like they're kind of scripted turns beforehand. You're gonna play your 2-on-2. You're gonna play your 3-on-3. Sometimes there's like, okay, what 3 do I play? What disguise creature do I play? But here's where it really starts to be like, okay, I can kind of see what I have in my hand. I see what they're doing. Let me figure out what I'm supposed to do here. So if we are just to stop, pause time here, and say and evaluate this board state and this game state. What are some general things you would say about it? And they could be as general or specific as you'd like.
They're tapped out, so
Yep.
if I was to attack, now would be a good time to do it.
Sure, yeah.
And then I would have to look at my hand to see if I was to attack, what would happen on the crackback,
Mm-hmm.
and if my hand has something to deal with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Those are all really good thoughts.
yeah, I think it was this turn or another turn where I was like, oh, it's fine. I have eliminate the impossible, so the crackback shouldn't be that rough.
Right.
So then I decided to swing.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I totally agree.
Sorry.
Oh,
did you have
and then we
anything else
pass
to
here.
say?
That's interesting.
I'm sorry.
So I was just saying, like, no, I was just saying I agree with what you like. I agree with the attack, and the plan is to pass. And what do you expect to cast here, or what are you looking to cast? I suppose.
Here's a thought that I had. Okay, interestingly enough, but I passed it anyways. Was that like, if they decide to attack, it's good to hold this up. But if they decide to not attack me for any reason or not crack this, then I sort of wasted a turn where I could have put something face down.
Right. Yeah. That's my big thing about this turn is that number one, I think that casting the eliminate the impossible, it doesn't really get you anywhere. It saves you a bit of life, but my like 80% of the time when I have a play that's like, okay, I could affect the board or I could not affect the board directly, I'm just going to go for the board affecting play. So especially because here's a big thing about this game that I think is going to be probably critical going forward. You missed the land drop this turn. And when you're missing land drops, it's very easy to fall behind if the opponent just has one combat trick, one removal spell, right? So to mitigate that, you want to get on board so that when they do go for an attack, it's not that bad. You can double block, you can triple block, and that eliminate that you're planning to cast here, that card's actually a lot more effective when you've already got a big board. Because what happens when you cast it when you don't have a board? Okay, you gain some life, basically. But when you've got a bunch of creatures, what you can do is they go, okay, big attack. You go for some double blocks, and then you cast eliminate, and their attacks just get so much worse because you get to eat a bunch of their creatures. So the big picture thing here is that because you are behind on mana, you want to affect the board. And I would say even like, regardless if you weren't behind on mana, I think you want to just play your creature out here, use all your mana you can.
Okay. And yeah, that's when they didn't crack it and I was fucked.
right, yeah. They play a satchel.
And then I decided to Helix that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think you have to spend your mana this turn. It's just, you can't just burn 3 mana. Yeah, and there is an interesting decision though. Do you kill the Strider or do you kill the Elephant? Because they just cast a red card and they don't have a mountain in play. So that might suggest to me that they have other red cards in their hand, and maybe you could cut them off of those. I don't think it's clear one way or the other, because killing the big thing makes sense too. But I would at least be thinking about, like, maybe I should kill the Strider here. All right, so yeah, they played Satchel. Satchel's not good for you to see, obviously.
Yeah, and they didn't put a mountain down, so that obviously means it would have been good to some degree. Okay, right. I do have a question about that. So if they're playing 5 color, I'm going to assume that they will eventually get a mountain. Like
Yes.
they're not just like splashing satchel, right?
Hmm.
So if I was to kill the Strider and eventually get a land, like what's the like I guess how significant or how impactful is it to get rid of their Strider?
Yeah, it's you're totally right that eventually they probably will find their mana.
Huh?
The idea with it isn't to keep them off the mana forever. The idea is to buy yourself some time so they can't just cast all the cards in their hand, right? So let's just say they go 2 turns before they find their mountain and they have 2 red cards in hand. Well, that's 2 turns that you've effectively said those cards aren't in your hand. You cannot cast them. And yes, they eventually will be able to, but giving yourself that time to develop your board is pretty valuable, and that's what you're gaining off of it. You're not
Ah,
gaining. I'm never gonna cast. They're never gonna cast it. You're getting that time.
okay. Called disruption, right?
Yep. And I would just like pause here for a second. Now that the game's gone on a little bit more, let's talk a little bit about what's more about what's going on here. So, what now? How would you describe this game? Some characteristics and maybe how. Like, do you think you're the aggressive player? Do you think you're the one who's supposed to like play to the late game? Like, what's going on here?
Um, I honestly don't feel like I was the aggressor at this point of the game because I was missing like land drop, so I was pretty
Mm-hmm.
worried. Meanwhile, they have a satchel. They can keep getting cards, and they can keep putting out creatures because of the satchel. So my thought process, I think, at this point was to just like hold.
Right. So you're it's kind of a complex thing because you're right, you can't really beat the beatdown right now. It's actually kind of tough. But because I'm looking at what they're doing, they've got the satchel, which is a card that as the game goes on, they're just gonna keep accruing more and more value. And they're a 5 color deck, it looks like. So it's not even like, okay, I want to your deck, we looked at it, was like kind of a controlling deck. But because they've got this satchel going, I want to end the game. And it's not easy to do that right now. But going forward, all my game actions are going to be about trying to get on board to end the game rather than trying to defend. Because when you're trying to defend, you're like, okay, I'll survive and I just want to cast my spells. You after that, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to cast your spells, but they're going to still have the satchel going and maybe other great cards. So yes, you are a deck. You're a deck that's not that aggressive, but I think you need to be aggressive here because I imagine they're going to win the game if you give them that time.
Okay, so then would it have Domino is telling me to like maybe I should have swung out, and I was thinking like, okay, well it would be my 2-1 versus their 1-3.
Yeah, I think domino mostly just means like with the 3/2. Like I don't
Oh,
think the at this point like attacking with and dropping more disguise creature. Right, yeah, like the 2/1 getting in, but can't get in. So you just attack with the 3/2, and then you just keep playing more creatures, and then like you want to make your opponent's life difficult is maybe a way to put it. You want to make it so you don't give them all the time in the world to crack their clues and tap their satchel and draw more cards. You want to pressure them so they have to spend their mana responding to you rather than just cracking a bunch of clues and drawing cards. So I think it's really important that we get on board now.
oh, jeez. Okay. How do I even like say that to
I
somebody?
would say, yeah. To summarize it, I would just say take a snap. Like at any point in the game, you can just ask if this game keeps going the way it's going, who's gonna win it? And because that satchel is in play, it's gonna be them. And so if you think it's them, then you need to do something different where it's like, well, I'm not going to win this game if it just keeps going the way it's going. So I need to start attacking.
Hmm. Okay.
I think that's the easiest way I would put it. Just like ask yourself if this game is going to go in 5 turns, who's going to be advantaged? And it's probably going to be the person with the satchel in play.
Okay.
So that means you need to end the game. If it's you, if you're the one who's like, oh, actually, I'm going to be good in 5 turns. I'm going to be the one who's advantaged. You want to block. Totally. But I think it's not this game right here.
Okay. So after I assess. Okay. Alright. I'll just timestamp this and come back to it so I can.
Yeah, for sure.
So I can word it better because I'm like I have like a little notepad I'm showing you right now
Nice.
of like a timestamp of the recording, and then I go through it later again. And
Oh, that's great.
I promise you, I'm serious about my coaching.
Yeah, no. I'm glad to see it.
Still attacking, and then I put out this. Does it matter if I put out the Helion or the Snoop?
I would probably play the Snoop because you're not flipping the Helion for a long time, and if
Right.
you draw, you draw on your island, you might be able to flip the Snoop if that's something you want to do.
Yeah, I was thinking like if worst comes to worst, like maybe I'll have to like look for something that can affect the board a little bit better and stop them from doing what they're doing.
Yeah, like basically, if you like, let's just say you had blue in play, right? If you miss the land drop next turn, I would flip up a Snoop if you had the mana to do so to find a land because you need to keep pace with them. You have to keep playing your land so you can cast your Helion, cast your Bother. If you're missing land drops, they're just going to keep playing further and further and further ahead. So there comes a point, especially when you're not playing, like when you're playing an aggro deck, it doesn't matter as much that you keep hitting your lands. But in any deck that has like 4 drops, 5 drops, 6 drops, disguise creatures, hitting a land is a big priority for me. If I miss a land drop in the first 4 turns of the game, that like dramatically decreases your win rate. So I would really prioritize that if you have the chance to. Like, here's another example. If you were on turn 3, just like a random game, don't like forget about this game. But if you were a deck that I'm just like the kind I'm describing, where you have a lot to do with your mana and you want to get to land 4, 5, 6, 7, and you have the option on turn 3 of playing a disguise creature or casting Deduce to draw a card because you're gonna miss your land drop, or sorry, turn 4. I would cast Deduce because you need to start hitting your lands, or else you're just gonna start to fall way too far behind because you're gonna have too many expensive cards in hand you can't cast.
Mm-hmm. Let me get my glasses. I realize I can't see.
Yeah, for sure. Domino, do I go to 18 lands a lot in this set? I wouldn't say a lot. No, more often than usual in most sets. Like the reasons you go to 18 is, or the reason I go to 18 most often is to get in more sources for when you're splashing and when you have a lot of expensive disguise creatures. And not all my decks have both of those. And they kind of need to have both of those because if I'm splashing, I usually have other mana sources in my deck, like gardeners and stuff, so I don't need to go to 18 lands. And if I have just like a bunch of expensive things and I'm not splashing, well, I mean, like, I guess maybe you had a lot of expensive things, but usually you're okay with 17 a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think like this format isn't necessarily a format in which you have 18 lands, but it can be.
Yes, absolutely. That's a good way to put it.
Because I think it's like you don't necessarily even have to be playing like 3 colors with no fixing to go 18 lands. You could be playing a deck that's 2 colors that's just really expensive too, with a lot of like expensive morphs.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. If you've got all these like things that flip up for 5 and 6 mana, then yeah, 18 makes sense.
And then they cast this big old boy.
Yeah, the enlisted worm card's very good, and this is kind of what I mean, right? You're starting to fall behind because they've hit their land drops and you haven't here. If you had the like the cold case cracker in play, the 3/3 flyer, you'd be able to keep pressuring them even though they've got a big thing on the ground. But because we miss land drops, and by no fault of your own, I'm just kind of illustrating a point of what happens when you miss land drops.
Yeah.
You just start to really keep like falling behind.
Felt it.
All right, great. So we got it.
Was attacking okay?
Yeah, attacking here. I definitely like attacking here. Like, I would not be worried about my life total if I were you right now. I think you're more concerned about your opponent's life total.
Oh, yeah, because they're 14.
Yeah, and just like what we talked about before, right? Like, you want to start attacking them so they don't keep playing awesome things and taking over the game eventually.
Okay. Man, I feel like maybe it really should have gotten rid of that strider because they didn't hit their red one in a bit.
Right? Yeah, yeah. It's hard to tell, right? Because like if they just hit it the next turn, you're like, oh, well, I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, you never really know because the opponent could just be splashing satchel. Like you don't know of how many red cards they have. All right, yeah, take 5. Totally agree. Looks good. They play a wall. They play a gardener. Okay, cool. Now you're not in a bad spot now. Okay, yeah, get in. They block, sure. Ah, okay. So what's the plan here now?
Mm, I think I don't remember. Maybe it was this. Maybe it was flip this, block that.
Yeah,
I think I
flipping
played
Snoop makes
this.
sense.
I think I played
I
this.
would look to flip the Snoop myself again to hit the land drops.
Oh, I did this instead.
Mm. Yeah, that's fine too, because you still get to gain some. Like, no, you're right. This makes a lot of sense because you get to eat their gardener and you still get to crack your clue. So this works just fine too. Like this is a good play.
Oh yeah, then this sucked.
Ooh, that does suck. Yeah, geez. Okay. Yikes.
And then I got lucky and drew the dramatic accusation.
Okay, that works.
And then click on that.
So I actually would have done something else that turn too. I think now you just want to cast the intrude on the mind to get another flyer on board because you're so close to killing them, right? Like you got this cloak. If they just attack with like one of their Thopters, I mean they probably leave something back maybe, but here's how I see this. I think you're currently looking at this game as, oh, I need to not die. I'm looking at this game as if I don't kill them now, I'm just gonna die eventually because they're just gonna like get infinite value, right? And so I want to use this dramatic accusation to tap down a blocker, not an attacker. So I if you just look at their life total and what you can do, I would pass the turn here, cast the intrude to make a flyer, and then you get to dramatic accusation a blocker and probably just kill them after that. Like it's just a 1-turn clock. They've got the tapper and play the 0-4 wall. But again, putting on pressure means that you're going to stop them from pressuring you. Like in a turn, either they answer your thing or put more threats on board. And if they're forced to answer your thing, then they're not going to be pressuring you. They're not going to be putting more threats on board.
I was wondering if at some point I actually should have put the dramatic accusation on the 0-4 because that way they don't tap my thing and I can keep attacking.
Yeah, that's a really good plan too. I think either that or on the 1/1 Death Touch flyer. But I think if I were to list in order of the things you want to put it on, the dramatic accusation, it's probably the 0-4 first, then the flyers, and then the 5/5. Like I'm not going to say you can ignore the 5/5, but again, you're at 12, so it's not going to kill you that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 3 turns, and you're going to kill them before they kill you. Like remember the question I asked you before? You have to ask yourself if things just go the same way as they're going and nothing really changes, who wins this game? I think it's you now because you're attacking them and you're pressuring them. And if you can just like get in a few times with the flyers and the cloaks, then you're going to be totally fine here. I don't think you need to worry about your own life total too much.
Okay. So why did you say again? I sort of forgot why you said that the intrude on the mind would have been something you did instead.
Oh, because you want to put another flying threat into play. You want to make sure that they like because right now you've only got the cloak going, and that's going to kill them in a few turns maybe. But putting another like it also helps you hit your land drops too. Because what I can see you doing is going cast the intrude on the mind, make a flyer, and draw some lands, and then you get to land 6. You can cast bother, and that stabilizes you so well. You're not going to die, and those attack back on the crackback. Yeah, exactly what Small Chub says in chat. It's a trap of being caught up not losing rather than trying to win, and it's something that does happen to everybody. It's not it's not like a noob trap or something. It's something that is pretty hard to identify when you're supposed to attack or not.
Yeah, side comment. I also usually think that people that have an abundance mindset are better at this game than people that have like a scarcity
Yeah.
mindset.
I've never heard it put that way, but that's a fantastic way to put it. I think that's very true.
Yeah, because they're always able to like, in a way, see how they can take advantage of what there is more than like not. And I think Magic is a lot of like playing to your outs.
Yeah, it's the difference between being like, here's the situation I'm in, what can I make of it, rather than, oh, here's what could happen to me. I better be defensive, better hoard my, my creatures, and
Yeah.
it's exactly that.
Oh yeah, then this really messed me up.
Yeah, I just like getting a and this is kind of what I was saying before, right? Where if you don't develop your board, then one removal spell can really put you back, or they get into a really good attack. Like, let's just say you had 4 creatures on board, that removal spell wouldn't have been as bad for you because you're like, okay, I just block with my other stuff. But because we didn't spend turn 3 developing the board, we kind of took a turn off. It was a lot worse for you than it might have been. Okay, would you land? That's nice.
Uh,
Yeah, so let's just stop here too, and I think now that we've seen half this game, I do kind of have a big picture point that I think you can apply to a lot of other games. Where I've been talking about why you want to do this, why you want to do that. You've had some thoughts, and we've gone back and forth. But really, I think when it comes down to it, this game goes a lot easier if you just ask yourself, what spends the most mana each of my turns? Because I think we've had multiple turns in a row now where we haven't spent all of our mana, and that's really come back to bite us, right? Because now we didn't spend our 3 mana here, and that's going to come back to bite us. We didn't spend three
yeah.
mana on turn 3. If you just had spent six, seven, 8 more mana over the course of this game, I think you win this game easily at this spot. Like, no, it won't even go on longer than this. But because we had spots where it's like, okay, we'll play this instead and didn't use all our mana, you kind of fall behind it in kind of an invisible way. It's almost like you don't see it, but it's just very much the person who spends the most mana in a game of Magic is almost always going to win. Or more
Spends
mana
the
than the
most
opponent.
mana efficiently.
Yes, like I guess here's a good way to frame it. There are definitely times when I don't make the mana efficient play. I'm just like, yeah, just whatever. I'm just gonna do the thing that I think makes sense on this board state. But that's 20% of the time. Like, I think you can just do an 80-20, like a heuristic 80-20, where just like 80% of the time, just find the play that spends the most mana. And 20% of the time, there's gonna be times you deviate from that. But you're gonna win so many games of it just spending mana every single turn, all of the mana you can.
Okay. I think I remember this part where I was like, fuck, I messed up.
Oh yeah,
And
you
I
could have played
didn't
the
put
three
down the
drop too.
healing.
Yeah, totally.
They boot me.
Yeah, flipping the Snoop's nice there. Although I guess that's maybe what you wanted to do. Maybe you wanted to flip the Snoop.
Maybe. I do remember at one point, at some game I played, I forgot to put down something face down.
Okay. Yeah, Fuss Bother. That looks good. I tap down. Yep. Yep. And the opponent, like, conversely, I think they've done a pretty good job of spending all their mana every turn.
Yeah. Yeah, they were really good at that, weren't they? Mm-hmm.
And then we cast that. Yep. Oof,
Oh yeah,
yeah, and
I was just fucked after that.
that locks the game away for you, probably. Just them going to 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way this game starts going is that because they casted another one of these later, they were essentially milling themselves, and I got them down to no cards in their deck. So I just need to survive one turn.
Right, and that's like pretty. That's a heads up way of thinking on your part, because I think a lot of people when things go when their original plan goes wrong, like your plan here of let me kill them. Well, they played something that gave them a bunch of life. You're not going to be able to do that. I think it's hard for sometimes for people to switch lanes and be like, well, is there another way I can win this game? So if you notice, hey, maybe I can just deck them. Like that's the way you win in a lot of
Chat
games. Where you're
noticed
just like,
I could deck them. I'm gonna take no credit for that. It was chat.
all right, fair enough. But like, the point stands that I think that when Plan A goes wrong, look for a Plan B of like, is there another way I can approach this game?
And then they cast Niv Visit. And
Yeah.
then this is where I lose, which was really interesting. Which I could have thought about, but then I had like different reasons. So I guess I'm gonna ask you how to determine this next time. So this is where essentially I died. Is when I could have tapped down a flyer instead, because I was thinking flying is more likely to get through to me than something on the ground. Right. However, there was like a really big creature on the ground. And so usually like I would think, yeah, the bigger thing is usually the bigger threat.
Right, yeah. But it's Niv Mizzet's gonna be the thing that sorry, you can't actually target Niv Mizzet. You have to target something else. But you're right, you've got ground blockers that you could jump with. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah, and so it was because one little thing got through to me later that I died.
Right, yeah, just losing by just a smidge.
Yeah, so it was my cracker, my cold case cracker, shouldn't just say cracker, that got through right here.
Yep.
Yeah, you see it.
Yeah, just the one.
Just the one, and then I went down to 3, and then this happened.
Oh, and then yeah. So I mean, this is how they actually killed you. But I actually think you probably like quote unquote lost this game like 4 turns ago, or not even 4 turns ago. But when they played the Glintweaver, I think it's very difficult to win at that point. Because like even if you untapped here, let's say they didn't put you to 1 or to 0, what's your plan after that, right? Like I don't know if you have a way to come back in this game is the problem.
That's true, because they went back up to 13.
Right. Yeah, that was a huge thing. And then going back, like, just to tie this back around to exactly what I was saying on turn 3, you don't want to give them time to be able to cast all their awesome spells, because that's how they start to stabilize. They're going to cast Glintweavers, gain life, put the game out of reach for you. So I think the takeaway from this game, at least in my mind, is number 1, I would say first and foremost, the most broad thing that you can take to any other game is just make sure you're spending your mana every single turn, all of your mana, or as much as you can. And 2, I think it's role identification. If what you're supposed to do in this matchup, like I look at 5-color mana base and think, okay, they're going to be a going over the top like they did right here, right at the end of this game. I want to kill them before that happens. So I think you want to be in the aggressive mindset, that abundance mindset, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that one was that one.
Yeah.
And I have a draft to finish, and I would like to play on this account instead of the Smurf account.
Sure.
Because I've noticed that because my Smurf account is lower, like those games are pretty easy.
Right. Yeah.
It's on this account where everyone just has better luck and is better than me.
Yeah, I mean, you're now a newly minted diamond player. You need to, you're no longer in the kiddie pool. You're not going to be as challenged from the lower ranks.
Yeah. If you would like to take a look at the deck first.
Yeah, sure. Looks good.
Okay. Any changes you would rather make?
One thing I might do is add in the get a lug up. I think that card's awesome. The plus, yeah, I think that card's really strong, and maybe just take out like a. You got a lot of good cards. It's not even obvious, but I think maybe the Rebel Belt Maverick could go in place of it. Like that card's okay, but yeah.
I wanted this card before. I pick it a little bit higher than just like filler, because I've noticed that the Surveil 2 is really important to like hit lands or to like when like when you open with a 2-lander, or when you like have too many lands and then more two then lands are on top of your deck again.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the card too. And I think for the reasons you stated, I like it mostly when you care about your graveyard. Like you've got a lot of evidence cards, and you have some evidence cards here. It's not like you have none, but you're not like chalk outlining or insidious rootsing kind of stuff going on here. And the other thing is, all your cards are good. Like you don't have any cards that are like, "Ugh, I don't really want to play that." So it's not like you need to like get the bad cards out of the way. I think just drawing most of you're happy with most of the cards you draw in most game states. Although, like you said, it's good to like set up your early draws sometimes.
Dude, so last game with this deck, I learned that apparently when you disguise anything but a creature, you can't flip it up, or use it.
Yes, that is true. That
So messed up.
unless you have specifically what's the card, Atrada, the blue black mythic, she lets you cast non-creatures with as if they're face down.
Is that in the set?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Sorry.
It's like a blue black mythic 1/4 that when it hits them you like cloak the top card of their library. It's a good card.
You said it was red blue?
No, black blue.
Black. Oh, that's right, that's right. And it has death touch.
Yes, 1/4 death touch.
Okay.
Yeah, she lets you cast non-creatures.
Online magics. I would bid this.
Yeah, I think so too. It's kind of close because you've got binding and your good rare, but we can keep this.
I don't think I care for land cycle yet.
Yeah, I would just land cycle here. I think you want to be able to hit your land drops 3 to 5.
3, 2, 5. Okay.
Like as in, I just don't. I would like to not miss a land drop for the next few turns. Is a good way to put it.
So this card has a lot more green things than there's white things, but then we have like double pit white things sometimes.
Right.
Well, sort of.
Yeah, it's kind of close. I think I would go get a green if I were you, but okay. So we've got some decisions here. We can actually do 3 different things. Which direction do you lean?
I lean on developing my board, and then if for some reason I don't, and I'm really scared of this, then I would bind that right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think we can just probably play the warden and go from there. I don't think it's necessary to bind this Drake just yet.
Yeah, I think if there was like a satchel in play, I would bind it.
Yeah, satchel's something that really makes you want to. Oh, okay. Sure, that's fine.
Ooh!
Well, that's good. That's good for us.
I actually don't know what to do here because I have an awkward amount of mana. Well, maybe I should just go get a lance that can hit my 5th plan, right?
So that is definitely something I would consider, but I think you're now 2 behind on board to do that. They've got 6 power in play. You can't attack into them. I think I would just cast the binding on the 4/4 this turn, and obviously you always like to develop your board over answering your opponents early on, but you kind of have to flip that. You have to say, okay, I have to answer the board if they present something that's good enough to do so, and I think that is good enough too.
I was thinking like I'm at 20 life. I can take 6 again. It's fine. Everything's fine.
It's fine. Exactly. It's fine. Don't worry. You'll be fine.
Because I have 2 big creatures that'll eventually.
Oh, look. That was good.
That's fun.
Okay.
This will help me catch up a little bit.
So, do you want to attack here first? Is a question I would ask myself.
I don't want to because they have a flyer, but I could because they're unlikely to trade with it.
So yeah, actually, them having a flyer means you should attack because
Oh.
if you don't attack them, they're just gonna kill you with the flyer eventually,
Oh.
right? So actually, them having flying makes me want to attack them more than
Oh.
defend. So
Oh.
I would attack here.
Because then
I
if they're like lower in life, they're less likely to attack me with a flyer. Then they might be more inclined to later block with it instead.
Right. They might not be able to attack and kill you, right? Because you're pressuring them. It's the same thing as the last game where it's just like, yeah, I would play that here. Oh, that's kind of nice. Okay.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that won't flip.
Yeah, you're racing the flyer because like that's an unstoppable source of damage as far as you're concerned because you don't have breach creatures or flying. Ooh, that's a good one too. So like if given all the time in the world, they're just gonna kill you with it. So you need to kill them before they kill you with the flyers.
So I'm gonna slam this next and just go to face. But would they
If
double block
yeah,
something? No.
If we draw, okay, we drew Panther. So I think we want to cycle that first for sure, and then, just go get a. Oh, wait a second. So do we want to go get a? No, you're right. You're right. My bad. I didn't mean to stop you there. We probably want to go get a white source now. Yeah, just jam for 3. Or for 6, sorry.
Why did we get away? I would have gotten a green. Oh, I guess I want to be able to flip this and also this later.
Yeah, that's one thing. Oh, geez. That's a lot of unblockable damage. Okay.
Oh, fun. I love this for us. I'm thinking I will attack and then uncloak these two.
Hmm.
And then they'll get in for... No, they won't, actually. Never mind. I'm stupid.
Yeah, I think you just want to attack here, or play the warden first, because if they trade, you want the warden to still be big. Play the warden first and then attack. I would just play it face up.
Oh,
No
face
reason
up.
to play
Okay,
it face
okay.
down. Yeah. Chat saying flip block flyers. I don't think you want to do that here because if they have a trick, then that just completely wrecks you. You don't want to be put in the position where you're flipping on their turn and hoping it works, especially when they've missed land drops. So they just have a bunch of spells in hand. You want to be pressuring here. And again, this is actually a great game to play because it perfectly illustrates to just like you should just be attacking if you're worried about dying because if you kill them before they can kill you, then it's not a problem.
Yeah. Well, this is good because they have to waste a bunch of mana getting this back into their hand before they can play it again.
Yep.
I would have been worried about trading that, but I think it was definitely better to do that.
Yeah, the game's still very tense for what it's worth because I think they could very easily just like shock you. Yeah, can't play Krenko. Their deck looks very good. Oh, that was perfect. Wow, that was like the best thing we could have drawn, I think.
And I put it on this one because if they block this one, at least I get more damage through this, right?
Yeah, so it depends. What do you want to kill here is the question because what they can be careful because they can Krenko sack their coat to make a goblin, and then they can put counters on their things. So you probably actually need to kill one of the flyers here instead of the Krenko.
Put a +1 on each goblin whenever not. Oh, okay.
Oh, but then they just kill the Gear Drake. So it's actually close here. You could kill the Steam Core Scholar. That forces them to block. That's probably pretty good. Yeah, I think kill the Steam Core Scholar. Yeah, like you said. There you go.
Wait, do they get to add mana? Everything, no, stop. Oh, they have to pay for it. Okay.
Yeah, they have to pay one.
Because I thought it was like the novelist.
I see.
that they get to gain 1, and I don't know if they would have like an extra red and then galvanize my thing.
Right. No, they can't do that. Okay, so they are forced to block. It's tricky because you attack, they're gonna just make a goblin here, I think, into chump block, and then you're gonna get cracked back for 5, and like it could be more if they crack an artifact. Like if they just have an artifact, it's pretty bad for you because then the gear drake grows and Krenko grows. I think it's a forced attack. I think you have to attack with both, but I'm just kind of like priming us for the fact that they could easily kill us in the crackback.
I wonder if we can just attack with the 5-3 instead.
I think we have to attack with both because again, if we don't pressure them, they're not forced to block, and they're not forced to be in a bad spot. Yeah. So yeah, exactly this. They're gonna chump block the 7/7, go to 3 or go to 3, and then just like anything kills us here. But we were kind of just forced to do what we thought we should do. Yeah, okay, that's it. No reason not to. They're not gonna play around anything. So a lot of stuff kills us here. Yeah, surely they have nothing. Like,
yeah, they have 4 cards in hand. Definitely nothing.
Yeah.
0. It's all lands. Can you feel how thick the air is right now?
They're thinking about it. I mean, the fact that they're thinking about this is a good thing. They don't just have easy lethal. Okay.
They're just tanking. Oh, they're gonna sack it for a goblin. What?
Oh, that's cute.
That is cute.
Yeah, that works. All right, cool. Yeah, close. So here's the thing, right? You always want to think of like, oh, should I have done the opposite thing? Like you lose a game, you're like, was my decision right? The opposite thing of being defensive, we still just lose to the Flyers, right? We just lose to the Flyers anyways, and they have 5 cards in hand, so we're gonna lose to those cards in hand too. So at least by pressuring them, putting them in a spot where they need to respect our ground creatures and like they have to block with certain things, they're put in a spot where they can't just have free reign to do whatever they want. And so I do think even though it looks like, oh, maybe we got too aggressive, the opposite, if we did the opposite, it would have ended up in an even worse spot, I think.
Okay. Didn't do that. What if I convinced myself that if I didn't do that, that wouldn't have happened?
Sorry, say again?
What if I like, because like, yeah, it's true what you said, but for some reason in my head, I would have been like, well, if I didn't, because this is what caused me to lose, the opposite would obviously cause me to win.
Right, exactly. It almost, you create like this false binary in your head. You're like, well, if I did the opposite, maybe it would have worked out. And actually, I do this too sometimes, and chat calls me on it, where I'm like, oh, maybe I should have done that. And they'll be like, no, because if you did that, like that other thing would have happened. That would have been good too. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true. So chat, if you're watching and listening here, I would say, if dirtNymph ever says something like, I should have done the opposite, like point out the reasons why it might not have been good to do the opposite. Because like, I find it helpful as a streamer myself, and I'm sure that you might find it helpful too. And it's just one of those things where I think our brain immediately goes to like, it's our human brain. That's the thing. It's our stupid monkey brain going, that was bad. Don't do that again. Do opposite, right? Like, and you just have to kind of fight. You have to fight against that. You have to fight against that your own psychology, your own biology in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like when I panic, right?
Yeah, right.
And then I stop, and then like when I panic and I can't switch strategies, and when I play defensively, when I'm like no longer in a defensive spot, like things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The psychological game.
Yeah, the psychological game is big. Like you are your own worst enemy a lot of the time.
Is there anything in particular you thought in that game we could have done differently, or that's just what it was?
I think that was mostly just what the thing is that they had a lot of really good cards. Like every single card they played was amazing, and we did have some we mulliganed, right? They have to like
Yeah,
consider
sure.
how we were already kind of disadvantaged. Our curve out wasn't as good as theirs. They were able to spend their mana a little bit better than us. So like we did everything that we could, I think, with the tools at hand.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go for a draft.
Yeah, sure.
Um, and we'll see if we can draft something different.
Yeah, let's do it.
How's your night been, by the way?
It's been good. Yeah, I just ordered some Chipotle that should be getting here soonish, so that's good.
Did you get a bowl or burrito?
I got a quesadilla actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The quesadillas are pretty damn good, actually.
Yes, they're like the nice little 3-sectioned dips and stuff, and yeah. All right, so yeah, what do you like from this pack? Some good things.
This one. I like this one more than the rest because this one has a pretty low ceiling. What I found.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to trigger it sometimes, right? Like it is not that easy to. I would say the ceiling's pretty high. It's just hard to get there a lot of the time. But if you only trigger it once, it's still pretty good. I would actually probably take the Sharp-Eyed Rookie over the Detective. Like I like Detective a lot too. You can take Detective. I think they're about the same power level. So it's up to you, basically. But I would personally take the Rookie.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay.
Because we're trying to do something different again. Like
sure. I also think green is generally very open. Oh, look at this. We get past some good green.
Killer Among Us. This card's very good. I like this card because it's fun, but that we already passed the red card, so maybe not a good idea to grab that.
Yeah, I think Killer Among Us is just the best thing here by quite a bit. I think the card's excellent.
Ooh.
More good options.
Either this one and maybe this one, but I don't. Yeah, maybe Insidious Roots, but it's kind of a build around, right?
Yeah, I like taking roots kind of when I'm already doing that stuff. Like I don't really like doing it and like jumping in and being like, oh, let's do the thing. I like when I already have a bunch of graveyard or evidence things. So I would probably just like where else do your eyes go here?
Here.
Yes, that's where I would go to. Fuss Bother is also very good, but we might as well just keep taking good green cards. No reason not to.
Nothing in particular I would grab here. Maybe On the Job.
Yeah, On the Job's interesting with your Killer Among Us. I would probably just take the land here, the Escape Tunnel. Like,
yeah,
it's always a good pick, and green ends up splashing a good amount of the time.
How do you feel about Rope, by the way?
I think it's pretty bad. The 3 equip cost is a lot.
Yeah,
like
I watched Ham play with it, and he managed to make it like very interesting to play with.
What did he do with it?
He just had like these big ass things that couldn't be blocked.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't think it's like purely unplayable, but I don't think it's great.
Do you know what happens with that card when you put it in a suspected creature?
I can't block. It's unblockable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says it needs to be blocked by 2, and it says can only be blocked by 1. So they kind of just say, all right, that means I can't block at all.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, nice little combo.
Do you think if it was in like a highly suspected deck, that would work out really well? Actually,
It would be definitely better there. Like whenever I evaluate equipment, the equip cost is often a big thing.
Yeah.
Where it's just like if it's 1 or 2, it's not bad. 3 is a lot, unless you're getting a really good effect, and the effect's not quite good enough for 3, I would say. And yeah, I like taking Inspector there too. Yeah, Crocodile's fine. Nothing special, but nothing special in this pack in general.
Not every set that a top uncommon also has the best meme value in the set. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah, fun. For real. It's true.
This card's so much fun. 3 drop slot. I don't think orangutan's good. I'll grab the V2 Gazi again.
Yep. I like V2 Gazi Inspector.
I've seen more and more people play this card.
Yeah, I still haven't loved it, but oh wow,
Ooh, ooh,
that's a
ooh.
late Gardener. Actually, a lot of good late cards in this pack in general, but late Gardener.
I would just stick with the green and grab this.
Yep, Creeper solid. I mean, ending pack 1 just in one color is really, really strong.
Yeah?
It just means that we were flexible, right? Yeah, like we just I would take the Hedge Whisperer. It just means we can do whatever we want, basically, in that pack 2 and pack 3.
I heard you say today you really don't like this card.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I would take Rage. Oh, there's the rope. Sure.
Yeah, let's
either
do
one.
it. JK, get in the sideboard.
All right, let's open up a Great Cup Bomb.
Huh.
Oh, that's a good card.
I don't think we're ready to chalk out Liney.
No, we're not.
I think I would like to grab the Tesa. Because green white's fine and we can splash it with a Nervous Gardener.
I would also like to grab the Tesa. I think I would do that.
What about this one?
Yeah, Sample Collector's okay. I found it to be just like a fine playable. It gets better if you care about like you're doing some chalk outline stuff, but I think it's just not that impressive. Ooh, Nyx Weaver's cool.
Yeah.
There's also there's also the mutation too. I think Repulsive Mutation is awesome. Yeah, it's kind of close. Like the flexible pick is just taking a bite down on crime, but I do think it's a little. Well, I was gonna say it's a little bit worse than Nyx Weaver, and it's true, but not that much worse. And yeah, it's really, really close. I think I would just take the removal spell, but you could take Nyx Weaver here, and it would be good too.
I'm gonna grab the Nyx Weaver.
Sure, yeah.
Because most people don't play black, and black has a lot of removal. So if I want a removal, maybe that's an okay lane to get into.
Yeah, I mean, Nyx Weaver is a strong card, and you already have some evidence. Ooh, and there's a black-green card.
Yeah, there's this one, and then see, there's removal. But people don't like murder.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of murder either. I think it's okay. There's also Novice Inspector in this pack, and like we don't want to lock in the black-green too quickly. And Novice Inspector is a better card. Although I think at this table, black and green look more open than white. Like we just haven't seen many white cards. So I would just take the Whip Cracker here. Just take a good 2. Whip Cracker also plays nicely with our Sharp-Eyed Rookie. It's a thing that grows it immediately.
Oh, that's true.
Right, yeah. Domino Man brings up a good point, and that's kind of what I was alluding to. Like Slice from Shadows wheeled last pack, and Slice from Shadows isn't an amazing card, but it's good enough not to wheel, or it's good enough usually to see before the wheel. Yeah, great. Love Eloxodon.
The heck?
Okay, now we just take the bite down. So what decks do you think you've drafted the most? Like, are you with the white decks, the green decks, the?
I think it's been the red-white decks. I'm a big fan of just not thinking while not playing Magic.
Just play my cards, do the thing. Yeah, I like taking Get a Leg Up here.
Even though there is one of those, I think having 2 is enough, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Get a Leg Up's really strong, especially with Killer Among Us. Oh, well, there's a second one. Yeah. There's also an escape tunnel, and we do want fixing, considering we're like splashing Tesa, but we also have like.
We have one already here. If you want to.
Oh yeah, we already have one. Yeah, I would take the Get a Leg Up then. I forgot about the one we had on the board.
Sorry, I put him away. I remember.
Oh no, it's all good. Don't worry.
I'm sort of inclined to grab this instead.
Yeah, I'll take Night Watch. Night Watch is a card I'm happy to play.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. Sure. We are very 3-drop heavy right now. Wow, look at this. So there's also Repulsive Mutation.
Compose yourself.
I'm so sorry. But there's also Repulsive Mutation. That's a good card too. But I would take the bite.
Oh no, did I not grab it? Oh, I clicked it last minute, but I guess I got the
that's okay. That's fine. I mean, we might play that anyways.
Benjamin, I am Benjamin. Oh wow, this is fun. Not quite much for us here. There's like an inspector. I
Yeah.
already grabbed the second white card.
Where are you leaning?
Inspector or this one actually. I like this one because I was just looking at all the under two power things that we have.
Yeah, I think I would take Inspector. I think we're very heavy green, so we don't even necessarily need to be like green black splash white or green white splash black. We can just be like extremely heavy green, splash some white cards, splash some black. Excuse me. Yeah, this looks great for us too. That will get a leg up plus these. Oh, this is an interesting pack.
Yeah. Because we're lacking in removal, I want to grab this, but the double pip is kind of rough. I guess I'd just grab it.
Yeah,
sure.
I would still take it.
I'm not sure I would play with anything else that's on there. This is cool, but then there's a slice. I think.
Yeah, I think I like taking. Like we've got with double killer among us. I kind of want to take the radical.
Oh,
right, it's so good. It's so good with the killers. Yeah. Like I'm just like not that worried about.
Fuck.
Oh, nice. So you could take it. You could also just take another inspector, but.
Let me say something. Not many.
No, I think I would just take the inspector here. Like, we also are splashing 2 colors already, and we don't have like infinite fixing. We have some fixing.
Let me try to take this.
I like that card, but I would take the Gorehound because our curve is like very 3-drop heavy now.
Okay. Is she an attacker? No, she's an advisor. I don't think I'm playing with any of these, but I'm just gonna put.
Well, you might play Fairy Snoop because that's a black card. Right? Let's take a black.
Oh.
I don't think it's that likely, honestly, but I think out of that pack, it's the most likely.
I might be collecting evidence often enough for this to be worth it, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would take it over the second creeper. Like, we just don't need more 3s. Yeah, sure. I don't think we'll play it, but. Yeah, just some stuff.
Can we maybe cut the 2 white cards we have?
Well, the inspector, I think I might just play like over because it's much better than like say Rakish Scoundrel, for example, and we've got 3 sources of fixing. Yeah, it's kind of close. Like, I don't mind splashing inspector. It's still good on turn 7.
That's fair. Okay. All of it. Ooh, we're very creature heavy. Man, I really needed that second bite down. I didn't click fast enough.
I think I would look to cut the Whisperer. I don't like that card that much unless I'm doing chalk outline stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking like not that one, this one, or that one. I think more that one because these are just better.
Yeah. So now we have to build our mana base, and it's basically like you know what actually might do in this deck. I think we probably play 18 lands so that we can fit in another white source. So I think we want to cut like one more card here, like whatever the worst card is. Maybe the Crocodile for the sample collector is probably a little. Sample collector versus Crocodile's tough, but I think sample collector goes because we have other evidence cards, and you can't have too many evidence cards in the same deck.
Someone's asking me if I should bring in the mutation.
No, I don't think so, because our mana base is already not perfect. We can't afford to add a fourth color here.
This is technically.
Yeah, and I would just lean a little bit like, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black cards, one of them being double black, and then 3 white cards. So I think we should go like up some forests for sure, because I think we don't have enough green sources. We want to lay like 10 green sources here. So I'd go up to 9 forests. And then yeah, the split of 2 swamps or 4 swamps, 4 plains is probably fine enough. Like I would only do this because our deck is very, very green heavy, right? This isn't a great mana base if you're trying to just splash 3 colors straight up, but I think it's good enough here.
Okay. Yeah, we have ways to get our other colors if we need them.
Yeah. Actually, sorry. One thing I might do too, just going back to the build. I think maybe we play the fanatical strength over like the 3rd V2 Gauzy Inspector or something. Yeah, that looks good.
Why?
Just because the card's pretty good in general, and like the 3rd Inspector gets a lot worse because like you just don't want to have too many evidence cards in your opening hand, or just like in general, because evidence eats, kind of cannibalizes itself. And we also have the combo of get a leg up plus fanatical strength, where you can just kill them out of nowhere.
Okay.
Just like trample and +7/+7 or something.
I think we need more interaction. I mean, you're not wrong, but I don't have any more.
Yeah, I think what Domino Man's referring to is like combat tricks kind of like play the role of interaction sometimes, right?
Yeah. Okay, you meant before adding the fanatical strength. Okay. I was like, I don't have any more outside of that. There's nothing in the sideboard.
Yeah, even more.
This is good.
This works. Yeah.
A little slow, not perfect. But whatever.
Yeah. Oh, reach creature. All right, so I guess that means, yeah, we just Gardener.
And then we definitely have to get the black so we can get this up.
Yep.
So if I was to get a, so I have to use the green, and then I put the black down, it would be 3. So yeah, it'd be perfect enough to just put this down.
Yep, exactly. Oh, Pace is good too. So before we play the Nyx Weaver, you might want to think maybe instead of playing Nyx Weaver, we just attack, and if they don't block, we play Teysa so we can make a clue. I actually think that's a little bit better.
Oh, okay.
Nice. That worked out for us. Alex, what are your thoughts on playing a Gardener on 2 if you're worried about being aggroed out? Yeah, like in this hand we needed the fixing, but I play my Gardeners on 2 a lot of the time if I have other stuff to do with my mana later.
No! Son of a gun.
Well, now it means that the Nyx Weaver is more likely to be able to block. Oh, that was a fantastic draw. Wow.
So yeah, I think I play this and then put this face down, right?
Yeah, that looks good to me.
Now, I'm inclined to destroy this instead of that.
Yes, absolutely. Destroy the board affecting thing. I think we attack here.
All my mana
yeah,
used turn check.
We're doing a good job of using all our mana each turn. This is true. Nice.
Oh, fun. What is this? Okay, don't have to worry about that yet. I'm going to attack. Wait, I could attack, but then if I attack and I have to flip this, then I can't play this.
Yeah, you don't want to be priced into that. So I think you just attack with the Gardener. They could have the Night Watch, and it's not great for us. But like, if it's not that, then it's good for us, basically.
I got a jar of dirt. I got a jar of dirt. And guess what's inside?
Hey, CNG stream. Thank you so much for the raid. How was this week? You're here. You came to the right place, and you're trying to learn. I'm gonna pick.
Nice.
Because I'm not playing blue, therefore I can't be picking a blue creature, right?
Exactly.
Okay. What does this do? We're gonna have to mill 2 cards. Okay. I'm inclined to attack with this, and then just the Merfolk.
So first things first, I think because we have the mana to do pretty much whatever we want, we should crack the clue first, just to figure out if that changes anything we do. Okay, so it actually kind of does because we play this instead of the forest. And then yeah, sorry, what were the attacks you wanted to make? I think they sounded pretty good to me.
These. So the
Yeah,
Merfolk, this, so I can flip it, and then this. Okay.
I think maybe I would hold back the. No. You're right. I actually like that. The attack with the things you said. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just. They just take it. I assume. Maybe they double block. Okay, that's fine.
And I don't flip this, right?
No, we don't flip it because we want to play the next Weaver. Oh, do they have? What is this? Oh, okay.
Oh, that's cute.
They blink their inside swords. All right, that's fine. Could have waited on the Killer Among Us. Sure, but like, I don't think it matters too much. Like they're not, if we're attacking with just one thing, they're not going to be like, oh, let me block that. They know it's a 4/4. Like as soon as you attack with just the Merfolk, you've essentially activated, right?
Yeah. No, I just do this. Nah.
Yeah, just do it now.
Yeah, okay.
Save some time. Why not?
Like, what about all these mind games I have to do?
What is that about? They hit blue and they attack with this. I think. Oh, is it like?
Smuggler.
Is it like a crocodile or something? I would just take this. I think.
Bubbles. No? No. Okay. Do you think they had interaction then?
Oh, they wanted to get something in their graveyard so they could collect evidence?
Oh. Yeah.
Could have been it.
Oh, heck.
Okay, so what's in our graveyard again? What do we maybe get back with this Weaver? Killer Among Us, Teysa, Radical. Radical's a really good way to close out this game.
So I do it now?
Well, do we want to make attacks first, I think is the question. I think we want to attack with some things at least.
I'll attack with this again.
Yeah, I like that.
And this.
Yeah, those look good to me. And maybe you just get back Teysa, actually. That might be something of interest. Okay, this is fine. They look like they have something. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, so we got in damage, so maybe you just get Tesa back so that you can make a spirit. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, you get to crack the clue as well. Nice. Okay, playing that land means it's probably a 5-drop disguise creature they have, or 5 mana to flip thing.
Nope.
Okay, we can block that.
Should I crack it right now and just block with a 1/1?
I think we want to trade with the spray. Like, I would crack it to see maybe some information first to figure out like if I do want to block. Like, maybe I might change my block if we drew like a V2 Gauzy Inspector or something. But we've blocked now, so it doesn't matter too much. Like, say we draw a V2 Gauzy Inspector here, I don't think I would block.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about information, right? You just want to get the best information you can each time.
Oh, I want to kind of get rid of their lifelinker and then attack in the air with the 3/2. And
Yeah,
maybe even
I like-
Tesa, but
Yeah, I think Tesa can get in here. I think Tesa trading for both their creatures is not good for them. So I think exactly what you're looking to do. I would do that.
I have to like sacrifice for them. Maybe I should have saved that clue.
No, I think drawing a card looks pretty good too. But I think like second one doesn't matter too much. Did
Do I flip
you
this
say
for
no
extra point of
blocks?
damage?
Yeah, no reason not to.
Because at this point it might start mattering.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, 9 mana. If it's a big thing, they can only flip 1. And that would be like a 6 at most. And then this other thing would have to be something they flip for 2. That would have to be 6. Another 6, which they can't do. So I could just take it probably.
I would block here because you just have pretty easy lethal in the crackback. Like just block with a, yeah, just block like that. I think. Like, you'd have like the double striker. That'd be kind of bad.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
6/6, sure.
Hi, Irish Card Bandit. We're doing some coaching right now. Man, I love some dirt.
Yay! All right. All right, sweet. So I do think I will call it myself. I will. You were responsible for me last time. I will be responsible for myself this time and say it's getting late. I should probably head off. But before I go, of course, anything you want to talk about or questions or anything like that?
No, I think the most important stuff was actually going that one game, and that's like the bulk of my learning experience for the night.
Yeah.
I think the whole playing thing won't be as productive anyway.
Totally. Yeah, and you know, if you ever want to like clarify anything that we talked about, I feel free to send me a message or ask me on stream or whatever. We did go over kind of like a lot of kind of complex things. So if you're like, wait, I wrote that down, but I don't even really remember what that's about, always feel free to. You will not be bothering me. Let me put it that way. I'm always happy to answer.
Thank you. Chad, before Alex goes and leaves forever, do you have any questions?
Thanks for being a good chat.
Yeah, thanks for behaving yourself. Not embarrassing me in front of Alex. By the way, did you change your screen's position because you're not looking up anymore when you like?
I know. Yeah, I put my I have my my laptop now as my secondary screen.
Okay, I used to do that too. I used to have like a laptop and a tablet, and my tablet was my secondary screen.
Yeah, it's much easier. It's less strain on my neck.
Oh yeah. Watch out for your ergonomics. I'm definitely someone that suffers from that.
I'm so bad. I'm like I was like walking this weekend. I was like, oh, I'm hunched over, and this is bad. I can't be doing this young.
No, definitely not. And like this I have tendonitis, but I'm sure this applies to the rest of your body. Like I didn't take care of my ergonomics for like years as a desk job worker,
Mm,
and I stopped working at a like desk job like 3 to 4 years ago, and my tendonitis is still here simply because
uh,
I stream sometimes, you know.
right.
So
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't really go away unless you completely quit, and sometimes you can't really quit walking around.
I know. Yeah. And just like even the ergonomics, like you can say like, oh, I'm going to get better on it. But it's just like the habits are so ingrained after a while, you know? So
Yeah, for sure. But anyways, I wish you good luck. You're still very
yeah,
young, so take care of yourself and your body. You only get one meat flesh that you're
exactly.
imprisoned in.
Truly only one. All right. Well, you have a good
Nice.
night. And yeah, I hope the rest of this tech goes well.
Thank you.
Bye.
Sleep well.